So again, welcome everyone. My name is Colleen and I'm the community organizer at Sustainable Contra Costa, or SCOCO for short. And I'm really excited to be here with you today. I've had a few conversations with Dave and Amanda Casey and also the president, Brad, and I'm looking forward to discussing our challenge in more detail today. But before I start, I want to give a few thank yous to our partners. The challenge, as you may know, is an online platform, and it's possible through a generous grant from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, and also our partnerships with the cities of San Pablo, Antioch, and Walnut Creek. So we couldn't do it without them. So before I get too far into the presentation, I'm also going to do a short poll. So I think I'll have to go back to Zoom briefly to share that. So for the first poll, I want to just gauge your knowledge. This is a poll about climate change and how it impacts our Earth. You may know that the challenge directly relates to climate change, and the purpose is to give members of the Contra Costa community solutions in their daily lives to fight climate change. So I've launched a poll, and you can take your time, just choose one question, or I'm sorry, one option here.
We don't actually click on it, do we?
So you should click on one of the options, please.
Oh, I see.
I love having a poll.
Oh, you only get one, huh?
That's correct.
All of the
For
above.
this one, just choose one.
Oh, there's an all of the above, though, yeah.
Okay, so all of you did choose all of the above, and that's correct. Unfortunately, there are a lot of compounding and interacting effects that climate change has on our Earth, including all of these listed here. And most scientists agree that these items are human caused. And so because they are caused, we all have an inherent responsibility to make sure that we ameliorate them and try to lessen our effects on our Earth. So like I said, I'm a part of Sustainable Contra Costa. And Sustainable Contra Costa is a nonprofit that was founded in 2008. And it was founded to educate and inspire people to live more sustainably, and in order to have a more clean and healthy planet. So far we've helped thousands of people to make changes to save water and energy, and also reduce waste and build community. So today we'll talk a little bit more about the challenge that can offer us solutions to do that. So as I said, those effects of climate change are quite complex on our world. But as you know, when we do activities like driving our cars and powering our homes and factories, we often burn fossil fuels. And when we do that, they release heat-trapping gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide into our atmosphere. And those gases act like a heat-trapping blanket around our Earth and make our Earth a little bit warmer on average each year. But in the US, 40% of our greenhouse gas emissions each year actually come from 5 basic household activities. And that's a really significant portion. You can see each activity here in the pie chart. One of the most significant of those 5 is transportation. So we'll talk about that one in detail especially, and also electricity. So because we do these activities every day, every week, and every month, there are many ways that we can just slightly change our actions and our habits in order to reduce those emissions and fight climate change in our everyday lives. Now, the good news is that we do have solutions to those issues in our world. And that's by, again, changing our household actions to make a really big impact. So I do have another poll here, and this one has to do more with our household actions. And this is poll number 2. So you should see it in a moment. The question is, which uses most energy in American homes each year? There's lights, heating and cooling rooms, heating, water, and refrigeration.
Do you agree?
Well, I have to guess.
Me
That's
too.
correct. This one is not as obvious.
I guess.
The only thing we do is we heat water all the time, you know, so maybe.
Okay, so everyone voted, and it looks like 2 people voted for heating and cooling rooms and 1 voted for refrigeration. The correct answer is actually heating and cooling rooms. And I wasn't aware of this at first, but it appears that this is most significant in our homes because, of course, the ambient temperature outside is often very different from our indoor temperature, and we're heating a number of rooms in our houses. So we do have a few actions in our challenge that we'll talk about, for example, that have to do with that. So as I've mentioned before, one of our major projects is called the Cleaner Contra Costa Challenge. And you might have seen this challenge before. We actually tested it with the Sustainable Rossmoor community in the beta version, but we've updated it, and it has a lot of solutions that make it fun, simple, and social to take climate action in your community. So our challenge can be found at cleanercontracosta.org, and this is what the front page looks like. And so I'm actually going to walk through how you can make an account. So to make an account, all you need is a valid email address, and you need about 10 minutes. And if you'd like, you can also input your PG&E information to make your account a little more accurate in terms of how much energy and how much water you're saving. So can everyone see my screen right now with the homepage of the challenge?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So as you can see here, this is our front page, and you can see that we've made a good amount of progress here. We have 659 homes that are participating right now, and we've made about 29% of our progress towards 500 tons of carbon dioxide that we'd like to reduce. So if you'd like, on your own time, you can scroll down more. You can explore some of the actions before you sign up. So these are a few of our broad categories. And you can also take a look at this bottom section here. And the challenge is fairly easy to work with. All you do is you create your profile. You can take action, and you can also work with others in your community. So we'll discuss how you can set up a team or a community group if you'd like. So let's go back up to the top of the page, and you're going to click Join the Challenge. I guess it's time for some Jeopardy music. Okay. There we go. Okay, so you'll see a welcome page, and this is very similar to many other sign-up pages. You just need your email. So I'm actually going to make an account, and I'll show you how we go through the process. And then you're going to make a password. And you can also see here that the password has a few requirements. So that can be a bit frustrating, hard to remember, but if you write it down, maybe make it similar to another one, the password will be easier to remember. Okay, and household name, you can name it anything you want. I'll just name it Colleen's house. And again, put in your information.
Young
And
people
you
are so
should
fast.
you should see your city in there. If you don't, you can click right here. And you should also input how you heard about the site. So probably community organization for Sustainable Contra Costa. If you heard about it from others as well, you could put that in. And just click this and let it load. So create new account if you'd like. You can save your password, of course. Okay, and it's as easy as that. That's your first sign up page. And again, it reminds you, this is how you start. You can complete an energy profile, find actions you want to do, and then work together with your community. So does anyone have any questions at this point? I'd be happy to answer them before we go on.
Sounds good.
No, that was a good presentation on how to sign up.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll keep going on. So you click got it. And here is the first page that you will see. It's called the dashboard. And there's a number of different buttons that you can choose. So the first one that I'd recommend is this blue button right here with the lightning bolt. And again, this is where you can complete your energy profile, where you put in a few points of information about your home. And that will tailor the information, the data on the platform, so you can have a better idea of how much money you'll save, how much energy, and also how much water you'll save when you take a particular action. On this page, you can also find your progress. You can find the rank of the groups you're in or the city you're in. And there's also additional data. Okay, so I'll click Complete Energy Profile. And again, it reminds you on what this is. And you can complete your energy profile. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And the great thing about the challenge that I forgot to mention actually is that all your information is private to you. So other users and administrators can see the name of your household and if you have taken any actions, but they can't see any information about what actions you've taken or your energy profile. So it's a great way to make sure that you're keeping your information to yourself, but still acting to reduce your impact. So I'm going to complete energy profile.
Hi, Emma. Whoever Emma is.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Emma, welcome. Okay, so in our complete energy profile here, again, it has a few steps that you can go through, but you just want to fill those out as accurately as you can.
How many people live in your household? Okay.
Our house, oh, I'm sorry, our house does not share walls. And then I counted these up last night. We have 10 rooms. And then
Except bathrooms.
we're going to, oh, I'm sorry, I needed to click next. We'll go back in a moment. Okay, so I'll go back to complete energy profile. I accidentally went out of it.
I see that you're recording this, Colleen. Can we get a copy of this and post it on our website, or will you post it on your website?
Yes, so I'll post it on our YouTube account, and then I believe we can do the same for you.
Okay.
I'm planning on posting this afternoon's version.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So after you complete a page, just click next. And then again, this is about your appliances. So what type of stovetop do you have? I have a gas one. We use our stovetop often. And also, if you're not sure what type of appliance you have or you're not sure about something, you can put I'm not sure and you can come back and update it later. So it will ask you about the type of appliance you have and how often you use it. It also asks about laundry. and about how many loads you do.
How many loads of laundry? Yeah, okay.
Okay, it also asks about what kind of fuel you use to power your main heater, and about any portable electric heaters. Okay, it also asks about pools and hot tubs. And I assume that individuals in Rossmoor don't have individual pools, just a community one. So you would exclude a community pool from your account. Is that correct? You just have a community facility?
Correct.
You know, some people do have a hot tub.
Okay, yeah, then if they have an individual hot tub, then they would use this. Okay, then it asks about energy use. So my home does not have solar panels for electricity. And we do not participate in a 100% green electricity program yet. We're working on it, but that's something that we'll discuss in this webinar today. So we'll get to that. And as it says here, the green electricity program is where you just pay a little bit extra and your utility, such as PG&E, will make sure that all your energy for your house comes from renewables. So we'll talk about that. And finally, if you use propane instead of natural gas, you can check the box below.
None of us do.
Okay. In addition, you can add your data from your utility account. If you have more than 12 months of data, you can put that in and it will, again, alter your data so it's more accurate. Let's see if I can go back. Oh, sorry about that.
Do you just put in your account, your PG&E account number, or do you enter each month's bill data?
I believe you can just put in your account number.
Okay.
So here is where you can put in the monthly total
Hours. Okay.
manually. So this is for electricity use.
Okay.
You can put in your most recent bill. And then this is your natural gas use if
Okay.
you use that.
Okay.
But for this, I'll make sure I can access it in the 3 p.m. Webinar so we can film that and have a better idea.
Okay.
But for this, I believe you just put in your PG&E account information. But again, your data is protected, so we are not going to share it with anyone.
Okay.
So that part is optional. You don't have to put that in, but you can click next. And it's asking about transportation. So in my home, right now we're using a number of different options. And you can also input information about the cars in your household. So when you do that, it will ask you what type of car you have, what fuel you use, and then how many miles you drive and how fuel efficient it is. So I'm going to estimate for one of our cars and put that information in.
Wow, you don't drive much?
No, this is, I actually don't have a car, but this is one of my housemates' cars. So I'm estimating they don't drive it much.
Okay.
I personally take a lot of buses, I take BART, I bike. I have not used car share recently, so I'm omitting that. I haven't used that since March, but if you do, you could also include that.
You live in the city?
I live in Concord, so I used to commute to San Francisco to work.
Mm-hmm.
But so far I'm doing my best and trying to keep to the bike, bus, and train.
Great.
Okay, and then how many miles per week do you ride the train, light rail, or subway? So right now I'd say maybe 20 at the most. And then maybe I'd carpool 10 miles per week. So for all of these questions, where it just says how many miles per week, you do want to include the activities of everyone in your household. So That would be the cumulative miles you carpool or you ride public transit. And then for each car, you should input that information. Okay, and then you click next. And finally, we are going to input information about food and waste. So I'd say for red meat in our household, we would do, say, maybe 4 meals a week. My housemates like that red meat. And we do shared bin, or I'm sorry, into bins at our house for our garbage. Our garbage is fairly small though. I believe it is 20 gallons. We have 1 bin a week for garbage. Okay, so that is the last part of the energy profile. You click save and exit. And as I said, that alters all of your data. So in a few minutes, we'll see that data that I'm mentioning. Does anyone have any questions up to this point? Feel free to unmute yourself or write something in the chat if you do. Okay, so I'll keep going on. But again, if you have any questions at any time, feel free to write something in the chat, and then I'll pause again later on for more. So right now, I'll explore these buttons at the side of the page, so they all make sense. So over here on the side of the page, you have a few different icons, and you have a little house icon. If you'd like, you could customize that with a picture. You can see there's an edit button right here. And we also have this little arrow here. That is to sign out. You can also see it right here. And we have my dashboard where you are right now. You also have my team, my community group, and my region. So that will give you more information about what the people in your area or in your groups are doing. We'll go to them next. But we're going to go to the action section. Finally, at the bottom, we have questions. If you'd like, you can send a question to an administrator. You can go back to look at your energy profile, which is also found here in this blue button. If you'd like, you can edit it after it's completed. You can find account settings. You can find policies if you want to see the terms of agreement. And finally, the sign out option. So let's click on that star for actions. Okay, so this is the main part of the Cleaner Contra Costa challenge. And regardless of how involved you might be in thinking about the environment and reducing your impact, we have a lot of actions that will work for wherever you are at. So first, when you are at this page, I'd suggest clicking on the Getting Started section. And each time you click on one of these icons, you'll see that the actions appear right down here. And only a few of them appear, so you want to click on the Load More over here. So you can scroll down, you see that we have 7 actions for this category. And these are actions that are great to just get started with. So for example, learn about solutions, the extra benefits of solutions, and the Johnson's plan are just actions where you read through. So let's click on this one. You can also see the difficulty level. This one is easy. You can see the points that you get, and you can see the savings as well. So this one is just a reading action, so we don't have any savings. Okay, so this is learn about solutions, and it will give you 1,000 points just for reading this, and it tells you a little bit more about the action. So with every action that you take, there's an action plan that gives you step-by-step instructions. So when you want to take the action, you can click on Get Started. And if this is something new to you, you can click on New Action. If it's previously completed, that will just be added. to your list of actions that you've completed. So I'm going to click on New Action. And you're going to select a timeline to complete your action. So when you do this, this is when you're making a commitment to show others, to keep yourself accountable, to try to complete your action by a certain date. So I'm going to choose June 2020 because it's pretty easy. But if you want, you can also alter it with other timeframes. And I'm clicking Save. Okay. So you read each section, and this will describe a few things, a few solutions that you could take. And once you've read this section, you can click Mark as Completed. Another option, if you'd like to, is you can create a post about this action. And once you join a group, other people can see those posts. So I'll click Mark as Completed. And again, we're on step 2. And it talks a lot about some solutions and the ideas and current data or current prices of those solutions. So that can be very helpful. So I'm going to go through these fairly quickly so you can see what I mean when we complete it. But we've completed section 2, let's say. This talks about clean, renewable electricity to heat our homes. And the great thing is that if you want to do step 3, it tells you more about a home action you can do, for example, right here. Let's say I completed that. Next is be energy smart. And again, it talks a little bit more about how you can be energy smart and save energy without completely switching to something like solar panels. So it mentions things that are a little easier, like combining trips, carpooling, and driving wisely or telecommuting. So let's say I completed that. And step 5 is rethink our food and reduce garbage. So again, it will tell you some home actions you can do if you want to do more of this, the impact, and then the savings. I like that it elaborates on these items so you can think a little bit more about how impactful they are. Let's say I completed that. And finally, your direct impact. So this is just a summary, and it mentions how all of these items can have an impact in what you do and your impact on the world around you. So let's say I mark this as complete. So it says complete action. It looks like I have to confirm any questions below and then click save. This particular one does not have any questions, but some of them might, to ask about more about what you did. I'll click save. And it tells me I've earned 1,000 points. So if you'd like, you can share your success. You can make a post about it and share a photo if you'd like. And this is a great way to share about your process. If you had any difficulties, if you learned something, this is a great way to share it with others. So I am not going to post right now because I didn't fully read that. I don't want to share yet. So I will X out of this. And finally, with this one, I'd like to share that at the bottom of each action page, we have a section that says resources. And in this section, you'll find just informational items, but you can also find rebates, credits, and more resources that can help you learn about these items or help you actually take action. And these resources are tailored to your city of residence, so it will give you items that are relevant to you. And now I'm back up at the top of the page, and I'm going to go back to my dashboard, this little house icon. And this tells me that I now have 1,000 points and I have completed one action. So that's great. I've made some progress. So now I'm going to go back to the actions page and explore a few more of those. Does anyone have any questions before I go on? Yeah, go ahead.
My question was, who provided all of the research for this web page, or this solution? Did Sustainable Contra Costa do all of this research?
So it was Sustainable Contra Costa with our partner cities. And we also worked with a number of service providers, like 511 Contra Costa, like the water districts, and other organizations in the area who work in these areas or in these fields to give us the accurate resources. So we can actually change those resources at the bottom to make sure that they're accurate, that they're timely and relevant to users of the platform.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to explore a few more of these actions, and then I'll explain one more. So if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see all of the actions on the platform. And that's really helpful if you want to just get a better understanding of the full range. And we also have this item right here that is a renter-friendly option. And I would highly recommend this for anyone, especially when you share it with friends. These would be applicable to everyone. And right now we actually have it highlighted. So if I do not highlight it, you can see that we have 73 actions. And then I will click it. And you can see that the majority of our actions are friendly for renters. So that is really great. And next to each action, we also have a little plus here at the top. And when you click on that, that will either add it to your list to complete, or you can add it if you've previously completed it. So here are a number of our actions. And even if you think you've previously completed something, I would suggest just looking through it to make sure that you can get the most out of it, that you might learn a little bit more about an action you're already doing. So now I will go back up to the top. And I'd also highly recommend the Hanging Out at Home section. We created that section specifically for this year as we're spending a lot of time at home because we want to make sure we can still take action, build community, and make progress in fighting climate change. So again, I'm going to click on this Load More section. You can see we have a number of actions here. Some of them involve your peers or neighbors, and some of them are just within your own home or reading. So for example, if you want to have a say in your local community, this action here, Have a Say, is fantastic, and it will explain how you can contact your local representatives. And if you are enjoying Zoom, if you're not burned out from Zoom yet, we also have this Host a Virtual Party, Start a Team option, and that can be a really fun idea if you want to tell your friends about the challenge or just catch up with them and include some information about it. And a number of these are very simple, like turning stuff off or filling your dishwasher. But every time you read through this, it might give you a few new ideas, even if you're already doing those. So I would recommend reading through them. And it's also really gratifying to read through something and earn the points, and just keep that habit in mind as you go throughout your day. Adjust thermostat is also very easy, and so is line drying clothes. So I will go up to the top right now, and we'll talk more about one solution in particular. So if you go here to the center icon on the top, the big actions, you can find 13 actions if you want to take a bigger step, if maybe you've done a few of the smaller actions, you know about them, maybe you're already incorporating them into your habits. So these are things, some of which you can do from your home that can have a big habit, or I'm sorry, a big impact. So as you can see at the bottom of each action, you can see a point value. And if you do choose to complete the energy profile section, then those points will be specific to you. And that's great because it will tell you how many points you earn, how much money you can save, and how much greenhouse gas emissions you can save as well. So I will scroll down here. And again, we have 13 in this category. Some of them you might not be able to do right now. For example, not as many of us are taking the bus, and we're all reducing air travel. But I'd like to point out this one here on the left, choose green electricity. So as you can see by this little description here, even if you can't add solar to your home, it's really easy just to choose green electricity and ask your service provider to make sure all of your power for your home is coming from renewable energy sources like solar and wind. And right here, you can see the Your Impact section. And again, this is where our energy profile comes into play. So it will give us an estimate of the total cost, an estimate of the time commitment, only 0.5 hours, and the annual savings. So for this one, I will elaborate later on, but when you choose green electricity, typically you'll pay 5 to 10 more dollars each month than your normal bill. However, in my opinion, since I'm pretty frugal and thrifty, I think I'm saving money elsewhere, and I think that makes up for it. So it's a compelling action, in my opinion. There are also some drop-down menus in the action sections, and this allows you to choose if you're going to choose a different proportion of green electricity. So I'll talk more about that recently, but personally, I'm trying to choose 100, but of course, any reduction in your use of fossil fuels is great. So if you were doing 50, 60, maybe 30%, you could put that in there. So again, I'm going to click Get Started. And this is a new action for me, so I will click New Action. And I am again trying to complete this month, so I will put it as June 2020. So you can read through the introduction and learn more about green electricity. And it talks about how renewable energy can be affordable and how it also creates careers. So I know that in particular, our Contra Costa County General Plan for 2040 is prioritizing this, and they want to create a just transition for people that currently have jobs in the fossil fuel sector and allow them to form careers in renewable energy as well. So that would be a great resource to check out if you're interested in our county and that. Okay, so feel free to read through this when you look through the challenge. I'm going to click Mark as completed.
Can I just jump in that?
Of course.
Dave and I did this particular one. We had researched about getting solar panels on the roof, and it was just such a huge upfront cost. Like $20,000 was our quote. And
wow.
it seemed a lot easier to spend $5 more a month for the same impact, you know, that our energy would be all clean. So this one is a easy one to do, and instantaneously your house is powered by clean energy.
I agree. That's an excellent point. I personally could not invest $20,000 either, and many people could not. So this is a great option, and many people are not aware of it. So even if you know of people who are interested, but they don't know how to do it, inviting them to join the platform could be a great step to help them learn about this and also other actions. So again, here is more information about green power programs, and I will mark as completed. And finally, step 3 says sign up and celebrate. So as I said earlier, the purpose of the platform is to make climate action fun, simple, and social. So not only do we want to help you take easy actions and keep learning about climate action, we want to make it easier for you to connect with your peers on these issues. So I'm going to mark as complete. This is just saying check with your utility or choose a program. I will mark this as complete. And here is where you can answer a question. So here's where you will choose the percentage of green energy that you are committing to. So if you'd like, you can leave this section incomplete while you check out these programs. So that's what I'll do. And here, as you go down to resources, you can see a rebate or a credit if you'd like to install a solar water heater system. If you do have solar panels already, you could do that. But here for the program, I'd like to point that one out in particular. This is choose one of NCE's 60 to 100% renewable energy service options. And as I said, these prices are slightly higher than your normal bill, but the option to do this for a much cheaper price point than your solar panel price is very compelling. So I'm going to click on this.
Oh, Dave corrected me. It was $14,000.
Okay.
It seemed like 20,000.
That's still a significant chunk. Thank you. Okay, so once you click on a resource, it will elaborate a little bit on it. And it mentions that you can choose light green renewable energy, which is where you get 60% of your service from renewables. And that one actually costs a little less than PG&E's standard service. And if you'd like, you can click here to learn more about that in particular. And if you'd like, you can also choose deep green 100% renewable energy. So this, in my opinion, is really amazing because it also invests in a local renewable energy and program development funds. So there is focus on creating more resiliency in our communities, creating more infrastructure for more renewables, and some of your purchase price goes to that. But typically it's a little bit more than your average bill. It's between less than $5 to $10. It really depends on your usage. And if you'd like, you can also choose local sol, which is a more local source. And looks like your rates are more long-term guaranteed. So that could be something you choose if you're a little bit concerned about the rate increases from PG&E. So I'm going to click on this link here. This is the 100% renewable energy link. But all of these links will take you directly to the website where you can sign up. And here is the website. My housemates and I are in the process of signing up for this, and it's really easy. I was surprised it's so easy, how easy it was. So here, if you'd like, you can explore their website and learn a little bit more about the process. It talks about how your power will come from wind and solar, and also some of the rewards. For example, if a business opts into deep green. So just click on this green button here, sign me up for deep green, and you are going to enter your PG&E account number. You can also see a sample bill if you'd like to see how much this might add. You're going to enter your last name and finally your zip code. And this will submit a request, and they will let you know about the next steps in the process to sign up for deep green. So for example, we submitted a request and we just got a letter yesterday letting us know about how we could proceed, how to sign up. Does anyone have any questions about deep green or anything I've covered up to this point? Okay. So now that I've gone through the website, I'm going to go back to my presentation and do a recap of what we covered. Okay, so we just made an account together and we completed our energy profile. And again, that information is optional. You don't have to put it into the platform, but if you do, it's also private to you. So it's not being shared with any other user or administrator. And when you start, you can also discover your starting impact. This will compare how much impact you have compared to other entities in the United States, in other countries. And also it will give you a goal that you can try to get to. And we also have our actions page that I mentioned that can be found by clicking on the star on the left-hand side of the page. You can also find that choose green electricity option, and you can scroll down to read the steps to sign up for the program. And you can also create a post if you want to discuss it with others. And again, each action on the platform has a step-by-step guide. And if you'd like, you can also send a question to an administrator with this question button here. We have custom resources at the bottom of every action, and those are really helpful. I love the rebates, especially because sometimes we're aware of actions that we can do, but we don't realize all of the other resources that are out there. And in addition, we do have some ways that you can build community with your peers. And there are two ways that you can do this. The first way is through a team. And teams are groups of up to 10 people. And teams are meant for you to build community with a closer knit group of people. And again, that's because you can only have 10 people, but it's because it's easier for people in the group to see the actions you've taken. So once you're in a team, you can see your points all together from each member. And you can also see how many actions they've taken and how many dollars they've saved. So team is a great way if you want to motivate a smaller group of people. And right now we're actually looking for individuals in the Rossmoor community to start teams. So teams are especially great for committees, maybe for smaller groups, like if you have a book club. I just started a virtual book club with my friends, so I'm thinking about this one, or smaller groups of any kind. We also have an option of community groups, and community groups can be composed of an unlimited number of people. And this is great for a group like Sustainable Rossmoor, maybe the larger Rossmoor community, or maybe church groups or groups that usually are expanding. So here we have a community group page for the Rossmoor community group. It's called the Rossmoor Climate Crusaders. And this here can be found. I'll show you how to do it in a moment, but you can also see the members of this group. When you join a group.
Marilyn, do you recognize any of those names? 3136 is our address.
I was just looking at those names, so, but I'm glad to see you're on there.
And there's Brad and Paula.
Yeah, I see Brad. I saw that. I don't recognize the others though. Do you?
Well, Barry
Barry
Bryan is this Brian, and Adrian is A and C. Byram and Dave Kern is the membership guy. So it's.
Oh, okay. So Barry is under Brian. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was the first name. Okay.
And
Yeah,
I'm Linda, and I think that's me. Linda's home.
Oh, great.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I understand it's very possible to sign up for something like this and then it gets lost in the shuffle of email or everyday actions. I have items like that, definitely. But the great thing about the community group is that there's unlimited potential because you can have as many people as you want. So the Rossmoor Climate Crusaders have earned over 20,000 points as a group, and I'll go back to the website and show how you can join them, or you can join a team. So you can go back to your dashboard with the house icon, and here at the top, again, next to the energy profile, is join or start a community. And you can click on that. And here again, it explains the teams and community groups. And you can click on either one of these buttons, depending on what you want to do. I'm going to click on join or start a community group. And here you can join an existing community group. So you can go through these pages here to look for one that you might be a part of. So here is the Rossmoor Climate Crusaders. There's 9 members, and you can click on this join community link right here if you'd like to join. However, if for some reason you want to start a new group or you don't see a group that you are part of, you can always create a new group, and it will take you through just a short sign-up process to choose a name, a type of group. You can do a group description, and if you'd like, you could insert some images and a message. If you do choose to create a group or a team, when you finish this page, it will give you a link, and the link is something that you can send to anyone that you know if you want them to join the team or community group. And when they receive that, they just click on it and they can create an account if they don't have one and join your group. Or if they already have an account, they'll just click on it and it will add them. So if you go back to my dashboard, and you go down, you can see again my impact. Looks like my house is actually under the goal, but I have not put in the other vehicles that we have, or our energy information from PG&E, so that will definitely affect it. But now let's go over here again to the left and we'll explore more community options. So if you go to the left and click on this icon with the people, you can click on My Team. And again, this is a similar option. You can click on a team that you are a part of, or you can create a new team. And before it hits 11, I do want to mention, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Is there anyone that has to go right at 11? I am giving this presentation for the first time, so I am running over a little and I'd like to take questions. Okay, so I will keep going. I'll keep it to about 5 minutes. But the last few things over here, you can click on the building. You can see my community group. I'm sorry, I think I clicked on the wrong thing. So again, over there on the left, the building is my community group. This is another way you can join or create a group. If you are already a part of one, it will show you the group you're part of and show them the information that they have, like the cumulative points they have. So now finally, I'm going to click on my region on the left here. It's the map. And this tells us about the progress of the larger region. So again, you can see the progress that we've made, the number of households, and the percent of our reduction goal. And you can also see the top community group and the top team. So those groups have been pretty strong recently. I think they have not changed since April. However, like I said, community groups have unlimited potential. And I think it's fun to have a friendly competition with your peers, maybe try to go up higher on that leaderboard. Because not only when you earn points, do you compete with your friends, but you also save carbon dioxide. You can save money and you can save water as well. So here you can see as a region, we've saved 140 tons of carbon dioxide. We've saved over 137,000 kilowatt hours of energy, 982 therms, over 5,000 gallons of gas, and over 80,000 gallons of water. So that is huge, as is the amount that individuals have saved as part of the platform. So it's really significant, and it's a way to actually see how our small actions add up together. Because not only are we part of a large, vibrant county, but California is one of the leading authorities in the country for climate action. And it also has the 5th largest economy in the world. So we have great potential, even as we act from our homes, to influence our friends in a positive way and help them take climate action as well. Okay, so if you scroll down to our actions, finally, you can see a few leaderboards. And you can see for the community group leaderboard, Rossmoor is in 4th. They've earned over 26,000 points. And for teams, we have a different standing, but Rossmoor has a team and it is again in 4th. But again, we'd like to encourage individuals in Rossmoor to create their own teams because teams are just for smaller groups. So if you'd like to, you can do that through the process I described, or you can reach out to me if you need any assistance, or to Dave and Amanda. And finally, the city board. We have 25 cities participating, and Walnut Creek is doing really well. I'm sure partly because they're a partner city, as is Antioch. But if you'd like, you can click see all and see more information. So that is the basic walkthrough of the challenge and how to choose green electricity. Does anyone have any questions before I conclude?
I just had a comment. First of all, I think this is terrific. I just had a comment about the tree planting slide. I wonder if you might want to retitle it Planting and Preserving Trees.
Okay.
Just because it takes a tree almost at least 2 decades to become proficient at really removing CO2 from the atmosphere. So it's equally, if not more important, to preserve existing mature trees because they're much more proficient at removing, sequestering CO2. So
that's a great suggestion.
So I think it's an important clarification.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
I have one more question. I have friends in other counties. Do all counties have this technology? I mean, is this happening in all counties with this webpage and this?
So not every county in California is participating, but we're working with a company called Community Climate Solutions that creates this online platform. And they do work in a number of other counties. So I could look into that for you and give you the contact information if you want to ask about that. For example, I know there are counties on Kauai, Piedmont, the city of Piedmont and Oakland is participating. There's a number of cities in Oregon as well. I'm not sure how many other counties are doing it as a whole, but it is fairly widespread in reach, just in different programs.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And would you mind giving me your name again? I can reach out to you with the email.
It's Marilyn Schuyler.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. That's a good note. I think either we could add it to this action here, or we could create a different one because we want to make sure we don't overwhelm people with too much information in one.
Right, right.
Does anyone else have any other questions or comments? Okay. So I will go ahead and conclude the presentation. But again, the platform is great in that it has something for everyone. So whether you're on a budget or you're trying to do something big, maybe if you'd like to step up your action, there's something that you can find in the challenge, and it would be great if you can also include other members of your household or your community in it. So it is ambitious, but it's very possible. We have this goal at the bottom of the page, which is to reduce 5,000 pounds of carbon dioxide in the first 6 months of your participation. And it is very possible, even if you only take a few actions. So for example, if you follow an article we have on the platform, we have a sample family called the Johnsons. And the sample family chose to do these 4 actions. And on the next slide, you can see that it actually had a big impact. So they invested a little bit in these actions. For example, about $60 in the green electricity switch, which we mentioned earlier. But they were able to also save money, and you can see that on each action page. And finally, each action page will tell you how much carbon impact you have. So adding up the carbon impact from each action page, they were able to save over 5,000 pounds of carbon dioxide just through those 4 actions, which is very significant. So again, today, we call it a challenge for a reason. So I challenge you to create an account, maybe explore the website. And we'd love for you to start out by joining that Climate Crusaders community group. And if you're interested, you can start a team. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me through that team process or ask Dave and Amanda. You can also discover your impact. You can create a plan by choosing some actions. And finally, take action. Even though we're at home, you can take action every day. And I touched on this earlier, but this is our current progress and it's very significant. So we'd love to include you and other members of the Rossmoor community to add to these. And finally, you can reach our platform through this URL here, cleanercontracosta.org. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I'll be sure to reach out to you, Marilyn, with more information about the other counties and maybe about the planting preserving trees action.
Thank you so much, Colleen.
You're welcome. Thank you for attending. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It was terrific. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Right. We'll get up to 1,000 people in Contra Costa soon, I'm sure.
Fingers crossed, yes.
Oh, I almost am hesitant to tell my dad about it. He's in El Cerrito. He will go crazy on this. But I'll
That's
send him this
fantastic.
presentation so he has something to, follow along.
We can watch
That
it.
sounds great.
I
We'll
know,
make sure.
I was thinking with my grandkids who don't live in Contra Costa County, but they're young teenagers. But I would love to be able to get them involved and almost do sort of a family-wide team. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So that as a family, my daughters live in 3 different counties in California. But I think it would be a great family challenge. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
To get everyone involved. I think, and particularly my teenage grandchildren. So, because I think they would be really excited about, this platform, and it's so. What's so wonderful is it's just so educational, and then they could bring it to their friends and their schools. And do you know what I'm trying to say?
I agree, definitely.
It's a great way to sort of, get others engaged. I think it's terrific.
I agree. I think we could ask about them being added to your household. It is meant for people living or working in Contra Costa County, but we can also see if there's any similar actions where, or platforms or challenges where they are.
Oh, that would be
Mhm.
incredible. That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
fantastic week.
And
And
by,
I will,
yeah, by the way, you did a great job.
thank
You
you.
did a terrific job.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week.
All right.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.